Welcome to Phonogenics 101, a Riotboy production hosted by Jeremy Gloff. The podcast where people who love music discuss albums track by track. Please hit subscribe, and if you'd like to support this podcast, patreon.com/Jeremy Gloff or Venmo @Jeremy Gloff. And now, on to the music. All the girls at the party looking... Okay, welcome everybody to Phonogenics 101. We are here to continue the Janet Jackson train. We talked about the first two albums.
That been bumpy.
Had a good time. We talked about Control and felt empowered. We talked about Rhythm Nation and remembered what a masterpiece it was. We fell in love with Janet and how central it was. And we all cried and laughed and bonded over the Velvet Rope. But like Janet said on the Velvet Rope, fasten your seatbelts. It's about to be a bumpy ride because we are moving into the 2000s with Janet. Of course, her last single of the 90s was Doesn't Really Matter, which is on All For You. Mm-hmm. Here's the standard edition of the album.
Oh, she's so beautiful.
The deluxe edition. Now, down the street from my house at the 7-Eleven, where I still get a coffee every day, they were selling the All For You single for 99 cents. So this is from down the street. Nice. And then I have my Someone to Call My Lover single. And then my rarest collectible, the Come On Get Up single from Japan with the single edit. So there's my All For You collection.
Well, I don't see the clouds in my coffee.
Yeah, anyway. That's all the clouds I need right there. So coming off of Velvet Rope and into the 2000s, Janet was hot. I feel like Janet had so much goodwill with the public. People just really loved Janet. Doesn't Really Matter and The Nutty Professor were such huge hits. She was really like America's sweetheart again, I feel like. And I remember talking to this guy, Brian. He's like, did you hear that new Janet Jackson song about having a nice package? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I hadn't heard it yet. I knew the song was called All For You. I'm like, it's not about a package, but sure enough, it was. I remember going to Target and buying the CD and putting it in my car. So just these memories we have about the album. Coming after Velvet Rope, I thought this was such a genius way to follow up the album. She was divorced. The white artwork, very fresh, very liberated. Janet's single. She's having her hot girl summer. She's got her cooch covered right there. So I just thought it was a brilliant follow-up. At the time, I thought she was continuing her hot streak. I'm like, this is another masterpiece right up there with all the other five. But we're going to revisit it and see how it's aged. So who would like to go next and say how they felt coming into the All For You era?
I'll go next. I was very excited. Doesn't Really Matter was a huge hit. #1 song, 3 weeks. After Velvet Rope, she dabbled in collabs. She had a huge hit with Busta Rhymes and an amazing video. And I was very excited. Let me tell you about this album, because All For You was a strong lead single, a very strong lead single. And at that time, I had already gone through 4 Janet Jackson albums that you knew, because like I always say, Janet was that bitch that you knew if you got her album, there's at least 7 songs that are bops. So I was like, I thought she was going to continue the trend. And I thought she did, but now that I revisit it, I'm like, I don't know about that.
All right. Jimmy or Sharon, who'd like to go next?
Ma'am, unmute yourself.
I'm so sorry. Like apparently good things for those who wait. So this record like for me was a little bit of a story of, so when I started to go down and visit Jeffrey Dicker, and we used to go to the big gay club in West Hollywood called Rage. That was kind of like the big club that he and I would go to together. Like I think the very first time he and I went to Rage together, one of my biggest memories was dancing to the Thunderpuss remix of All For You. And like it's just like the feeling of it coming over me was just kind of like this really magic moment, you know. And there's really nothing like that line about you got a nice package. It was in a scene like that. It's kind of like, yeah, you know, that's like the right place for it. But like that was kind of like for me, like you could literally, like I think Jeffrey had the line like a CD single with 11 bonus tracks. There was an element to that for this record for me. It was kind of like you could just give me that song and like I could pretty much be fine with the rest of the record. With that said, I mean, I think there's so much goodness on the record, like I can kind of forgive, you know, some of the missteps. Like there's always been a soft spot in my heart for this record despite everything, just because All For You has such a really, really soft spot in my heart because of the memories that are associated with it for me. And also Someone to Call My Lover for other reasons. So like, you know, it's like, I just, there are other moments in the twists and turns of Janet's career where I might cast more of a dubious eye on things, but this is not even though like there's some weirdness in the record, like this is not a place where like I give her all the leeway, you know. Like there's so much strength here that I just, you know, like I still love her. And like there's so much goodness that like, you know, we just, you know, we rush up and we support her because like it was, you know, we love her. So
Darren, I feel like you're gonna be the nice one out of this podcast.
I am, like I was, so when we in the lead, and I was gonna say like I think I'm probably gonna be the most like forgiving of her. But I want my moments. There are a few songs in here I'm like, what was I thinking?
All right, well, Jimmy, think you were on the fence about joining us. I'm glad you did. Welcome.
Well, Sharon might be wishing I wasn't here, probably, because I'm not. I think I might be the opposite of Sharon on some of this. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, my recollection of this album at the time is, you know, the songs that were played in the clubs, really, basically. You know, I'm sure I heard the album. You know, it's interesting because I loved Velvet Rope and like worshipped that album so much. I mean, I have this album somewhere. I don't even know where it is, but I don't remember. I don't have a lot of memories of listening to the entire album at one time. Where I like Velvet Rope, I was like, I just thought that was a masterpiece. So this one we're going to go through. I'm going to try and not be caustic. So please call me out if I'm being too acidic or something. And I mean, I might need to put away these because these are some catty notes I took. So I need to be careful.
I want some of them catty notes.
Yes, I do.
Careful.
And I always say this, my friend Quentin Harrison, who writes for Albumism, always said, oh, excuse me, my cough dropped. He stands by that Demita Joe, 20YO, and Discipline are Janet's masterpieces. So I did invite him to the podcast. I'd love to hear him defend those albums. I do not feel the same way.
Interesting.
Because he said that's like the height of her black excellence. Not in those words, but
but you know what? I can see that.
The R&B.
I can see that. I can see it because those are very R&B driven albums. So I can see that.
Well, kind of like Beyonce's career, actually, when you think about it.
All right.
Except the last album.
I never.
All right.
Beyonce. Oh, no.
I would never. Please don't come for me. I know who the queen is.
So the album starts with an interlude. We've gotten used to the Janet interludes.
I was done already by this time. I had enough of the interlude.
Just no.
I was like, no, like I don't want to hear her talking anymore. I don't want, like, those skits are done for me. I'm done with them. Like, they were cute the first 18 albums. Number 19 was a no.
Are you guys recording me? It was
Oh,
so
girl,
bad.
bitch, you know they're recording you, bitch.
Please. Jimmy.
The female Michael Jackson every time she talked.
Sharon.
But it was also just like, why? Like because at least in the early records, like there was she was saying something, like there was a purpose for them. There was like an actual, like, I'm gonna set up the concept of the record with the interlude. Like, I'm gonna open the record with the concept, like with a thought, and close the record with a thought. Mm-hmm. And then, even with the Velvet Rope, like the interludes would at least, they might be playful, they might just be kind of like, they were chapter notes, like kind of like bookends that would sort of say, all right, and now we're going to sort of like transition to another thought, another mood, another feeling. They may not necessarily be like, thought provoking, but they were sort of indicating we're going into another flavor or another mood or something. Like these just felt kind of just like, what is the point? And maybe I'm missing something, but I just kind of felt like, all right, we don't need the trick for the sake of having the trick anymore.
That's how I see it as well too. I kind of agree on you with that, because even if the Velvet Rope did not have these iconic interludes as the prior albums, it worked. Here I was like, bitch, get to the next song, please, for the love of God, please get to the next song. No, some worked, some didn't. I just think, like, right now, it was turning very gimmicky, instead of something, like you said, a connection, like, or and like I was like, girl, click, get me to the music. Okay, I'm done. I really was like over it. But the thing is, like, it's such a trademark for her now. You know what I mean? So obviously I just like, she just needs to lessen the interludes.
Rebrand.
I don't see her ever not doing interludes, because that's her.
Well, that's why I loved Unbreakable, because it doesn't have interludes on it. She finally got nope.
She was like, I'm too old for this shit.
That's why I'd like, not to jump ahead, but that's just, I might like I'm not gonna jump ahead.
Let's go.
Okay, yeah.
Bring on first song.
Do we need to mention Fran Drescher at all?
No, but she assumes that she sounds like her. So
that's such a grating way to start the album. Okay, any other thoughts on what's the actual name of the interlude?
Who cares?
Intro. It's called intro. All right. I remember being in my car, because that was before things leaked. Well, if they leaked on the internet, I didn't get them usually. And, I usually didn't hear songs until I bought the album. So when the first track came in, You Ain't Right, I'm like, oh, here's a fresh Janet for the 2000s. I believe, was this the album where she took some vocal lessons and they were talking about how she just felt more free and liberated? I'm like, all right, girl. So this is kind of a little bit more, this song kind of reminds me a little bit of Bernadette Cooper, Madam X from the 80s. I don't know if anyone knows that album, but
I know her group. Yeah. I like Bernadette a lot.
Ooh, you gotta listen to that Madam X album. Before Madonna had Madam X, Bernadette had this side project, Just That Type of Girl. Jeff X knows that one. I'm gonna share it in the chat later. But You Ain't Right kind of gave me Madam X, Bernadette Cooper flashbacks. I thought this was a very great rebrand of Janet into the new millennium.
Thanks.
It's still kind of edgy sounding today, I feel like it's just a weird kind of song. What do you all think of this one?
Well, I mean, I think it had like a perfect opening line. If we could get rid of that intro and just let the album hit with You Ain't Right, perfect opening line right there. I mean, I think it's got a great beat. My only criticism really was I had a hard time understanding some of the lyrics. If I'm just listening to it, I was like, the articulation wasn't really there. But as far as a song, yeah, it's a good one.
The Janet mumble was in full effect.
Yeah, right.
This one.
Exactly.
All right. Sharon or David, any thoughts on You Ain't Right?
So from my standpoint, the first three songs on this record are like not the like I cast no like side eye on the first three songs on this record.
Neither do I, and I am the shadiest of everyone. This was a bop. This was, you know what? This was a great way of saying, hey, I'm coming into my third decade. And I loved it. I loved it so much. It makes you want to dance. It makes you want to move. It's dark, and I love dark dancey songs. So it's I loved it. I loved it back then. I still love it now. It is I played it like I had it on repeat 3 or 4 times. I was like, this is it.
Was this around the time Destiny's Child was coming out?
Yeah.
Well, they were out already, but they were big.
They were out already. It was, oh my God. All for You blocked Survivor from going to #1 for multiple weeks.
So I feel like You Ain't Right stood side by side with that kind of new R&B that was coming out.
Yes, that is something definitely like I get kind of mad that she stalled, or she truly, you know, this could have been a 4th single. This could have been a hit, a huge hit. At least, even if it wasn't a hit on the pop side, it would have established her even further in the R&B side, because there's no way that this would not have had, you know, at least urban.
With some of that hot Janet choreography on there.
Oh, and plus you can remix the hell out of this one.
Yes,
so this one they could have danced. This one they could have turned it into a dance floor anthem easily.
Exactly. So like, oh, it was just, it's so dark.
Yeah, I love that about it too.
Yeah, I love the darkness when it comes to R&B and to dance music. It's moody. It puts you in a certain mood, and honestly, this is sometimes her bread and butter. Like, if she can continue to make songs like this, is good.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on You Ain't Right? I give it a thumbs up. All right. All for You. Can we not? There's no dispute. I think this is one of the sparkling gems in Janet's catalog.
This is one of the biggest songs of all time, regardless that it's Janet or not.
Yeah.
First of all, the Glow of Love sample from Change featuring a young, unknown Luther Vandross. I love that song. So when I heard All For You for the first time, and like as a kid, I heard The Glow of Love. So I knew that song. So right off the bat, I was like, oh, bitch, let's go. It was fun. It's flirty. She's sexual without, you really have to listen to the lyrics to really get into the sexual part. But it's sugary pop R&B masterpiece. It is deserving of its 7 weeks at #1. It is deserving of being one of the biggest songs of all time, and it is classic Janet.
And you think about 2001. In 2001, we had, you know, Janet coming out with All For You and Madonna with Music. So it was a great year for my divas. Great year.
And Whitney too had a couple of, she was coming off My Love Is Your Love, and she had a couple of things. Like, these hookers were like, yeah, we're from the 80s, but we coming hard into this new millennial.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 types of people in the world. There are people that like All For You and people I don't want to associate with.
You know what? I cannot, like, I will question you if you say this song sucks.
Yeah.
Because how does it suck? How does it suck?
No way.
Explain to me. And once again, the bitch got herself an iconic choreography.
Oh yeah.
You know what I always had to laugh at though? In the video where she's all smiling, and she does the serious breakdown where she does the Janet serious face where Pleasure Principle comes in, and then she's back to the smile. I'm like, oh, Janet, that's getting a little cliche with that serious face, but that's my only gripe. I'll shut up. Jimmy, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I really like it when the piano comes in, because it gives it kind of a house music feel, which is, you know, it's kind of a nod to culture there. So but I agree. I mean, there's so many elements here to like. There's something there for everybody, really. This track has something for everybody there. So it is all for everybody. So nothing negative to say at all.
And I feel the
Vocals.
song is such a towering achievement that even if there wasn't anything else great on this album, which is not the case, this album would have still been redeemed by how great this song is. One of the best songs of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that makes Janet so great, the sweetness, the sensuality. And let's remember how her look kind of got rebranded for this era. She had very much like the kind of the Black Barbie, I feel like a little bit more makeup.
She came with abs.
The abs.
She came with her number one weapon, which is that beautiful smile she has. And exactly, like, oh my God, how about the single to All For You where she's caressing the pillow and her hair is just so beautiful. Esa misma. Come on. Like, I had that CD single because obviously Miss Sharon knows what's up. The Thunder mixes are everything. So you know what it's like? She was entering her third decade. She was 35 years old, newly single. That we didn't know she was fucking married to begin with, because all that shit came out at the same time. And she has a monstrous hit, not just a cute little hit, because a cute little hit doesn't really matter. All For You is a monstrous hit, huge hit.
And I think there was some squabbling.
Who gets huge hits in their third decade?
Yeah.
In her case, in her fourth decade of entertainment.
I think there was some squabbling that her ex-husband was kind of the force behind her great work. So when she came out with the single and showed like, no bitches, Janet's the force behind it. I thought that was, a really timely and strong statement. Janet's Janet. She didn't need no man. All right. Well, any other thoughts on All For You?
No.
Thumbs up, of course, right? I was driving with some of my friends from my job, these young kids. They're like, oh, put on something from the 2000s. And I put on that song and they were loving it. They're like, oh, they didn't really know the song, but they're like, this is so good. So the song is the gift that keeps on giving. All For You is awesome. All right. The next song, Come On, Get Up. I thought this was going to be a huge hit. I thought it had hit written all over it. But it was, I guess, only released as a single in Japan. I think it continues the trio of opening tracks that feel good. You're single, you're ready to mingle, hot girl summer. What did you guys think of this song?
This is becoming a signature hit and sound for her, because on other albums you will hear a Come On Get Up, just differently worded and differently
Together Again. It
Correct.
Starts in the beginning to sound like a little bit like to have the vibe of Together Again. So I agree.
Correct, because people do believe in, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And in this case, it was very it's very Janet. I don't think anybody could do songs like this because it's so Janet, but it's her and it works. In this case, it worked.
All right. Any other thoughts on Come On, Get Up?
Yeah,
I just had it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sharon.
I was gonna say it's a romp. That's what I love about it. It's a romp.
Yeah, I love the breaks between the choruses. I thought that was great, and I think this is another one that was just ripe for remixing. Again, we're ready for the dance floor. Let's hit it. So yeah, I have nothing negative to say about this one at all.
All right. Well, we are moving. Oh yeah, 2 thumbs up. Come On, Get Up. So when I was listening to this album in the car, I'm like, okay, we have a slow song. And there was another slow song. Then there's another slow song. Then there's another slow song. Then there was another slow song. So we are leaving the opening trio. And I feel like this is something that happens on the next stretch of Janet albums, that there's that whole pocket that just kind of, I don't know. So the first song of this section of the album is When We Ooh. I don't even know what to say about these damn songs. David, host this podcast. I can't do it anymore.
No, y'all, this is yours.
No.
as I'm looking through the soundtrack of my it's okay.
It's okay.
It's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, it sucks dick. No, it's okay, but it isn't. She's had better ballads. She's had better ballads.
I feel like any of these would be better if it was just that one. Like if it wasn't the whole long stretch, I think any of them could have been better as like a standalone.
And you know the horrible thing about that is that these just melt together. Like, you know, like I said, when I first heard it back in 2001, I loved it. But now that I hear it again, I'm like trying to I do not hear the transition from one song to another because they just melt in together. And sometimes it's good, but in this case it wasn't. And like this song is okay. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I'm not gonna say it, after those first 3 songs you're like, damn, really?
And you know, talk about alienating your gay fan base, because us gays, we never last more than one song, honey. Like we didn't need those 5 songs. By one song they're in and out of the apartment and gone. So like I didn't need this 45 minutes of sensual music, Janet. I just need one song and get the beat back in. All right. Anyone else on When We Ooh?
So my biggest problem with this song is it's like a perfectly serviceable slow song. But like there's like this weird atonal thing going on, and it just I don't know, it breaks the mood for me. I'm just kind of like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is that thing? I can't handle it. So, and it's funny when you were saying like one song and then you're just like, okay, we're done. I was thinking to myself, I was like, is that why there's like 4 slow songs in a row? Like there was this thought process of like, someone's going to put this record on and go through the 4 songs and like make it a whole like situation. And in my head, because like, you know, because I'm a parent, I'm just like, who's got fucking time for that? Like, maybe that's a terrible statement.
Like Sweet Brown said, ain't nobody got time for that. Jimmy, any thoughts on When We Ooh?
Yeah. I mean, I just was not connecting with that one at all. And my notes say I'm bored. And then I wrote, actually, I can get enough. I've had enough of this song. So let's just stop this song right now and move on. And that's all I have to say about it.
I'm going to give it a sideways. I don't think it sucks.
I didn't like it. I didn't connect. I'm going to go down.
Oh.
Well, I'm not going to go down. I'm going to give thumbs down.
Well, if you want to, you have 5 songs or 6. Okay, next.
Don't shoot me now.
We are moving overseas to China Love. I kind of got the song in my head today and listened to it in my car. I'm going to admit it. I don't know why it's here.
Why? But why?
I kind of wish this was the only ballad, because I'd be like, all right, we're doing a little interlude here, a little China Girl. You know, we have Island Life on the next album. We get to the islands, we go overseas. Am I the only one that's defending this song? Okay, take it from here.
No, we can't. No, we cannot defend this song. Like,
no, exactly.
Like, I can't even do it was the 2000s. It was like, no.
Like it was dated at the time of release. How horrible is that?
Yeah, I wrote a note that I probably should have taken a nap before I listened to it, because
not even.
Maybe I would have been fresher or something. But for me, I was like, you know, it had somewhat of an interesting melody, but then there's a harp at one point. It's just too precious, and I'm just like, the lyrics were weak, and no, I don't need it in my life. I really don't.
Okay, any other thoughts on China Love? I'm gonna give it thumbs 3/4 up, because I kind of like, oh boy.
I'm not doing this.
No.
Okay. Next, Love Scene. Ooh baby. We are still having sex. We are moaning and groaning. I'm just like in the bedroom. I'm checked out by now, girl. I'm ready to be alone in my bed and watching TV, eating a snack.
See, the next song after this is the actual song that clicks when it comes
Yes.
to sex and lust and all that stuff and romance and all this shit, because this isn't it either. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I've heard this before. You've done this before. But it's like a cheap facsimile of what you've done before. So, and like I said, these songs, they tend to melt into each other, and I can't really tell when the new song starts. If it wasn't because the other song, the next song is great, it is really good, that like I wouldn't have noticed the other three songs. You know what I mean? And that's a shame.
And let's not forget to mention that the good old Thunderstorm is back. That seems to show up on every Janet album. It's not a Janet album in the 2000s if there's not a Thunderstorm somewhere in there. All right. Any other thoughts on Ooh Baby, Ooh Baby?
The only thing I'll say in its defense, I thought the vocals were presented up front, which was nice. They weren't buried in the mix, but it just felt like a weak track and a filler. This was just a filler track. A waste of time.
I just couldn't believe I forgot how many slow songs there were in a row. Like honestly, I'm like, okay, but then it kept going and going. So we are ending.
And it's weird coming from her. Like, let's not say, because when she hits on a ballad, she fucking hits on a ballad.
Right.
But we want those up-tempo songs. We want to be moving. And maybe it didn't connect with us. Like she is like, oh my God, again, let's wait a while, come back to me. These are ballads.
Anytime, any place.
Anytime, any place. Yes, I get so lonely. These are like slow tempo songs. They hit and they grab you. This didn't grab me anywhere. I waited a minute. Just it didn't grab me. But I'll always say, you know, the other bitches wish they had this type of trash. You know what I mean? While this could be trash for her, it would be a hit for somebody else. Like blah. But no, it's a no.
All right. We have one more song in this slow jam era.
But the song that saved the fucking era.
Would you mind? I have a little something to share with you guys, and I've just been sitting on this for weeks. That I was driving around the other day, I was so hungry, and I just started singing like, I want a Big Mac, small fry, quarter pounder with cheese. I want some Wendy's, KFC, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A.
Come on, we're laughing about that shit, but that's iconic. That the way she spilled them lyrics.
I want some chicken wings, tacos, Dory.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay. Am I fired from host? Sorry, Patreon. I want some chimichangas, Dory. Okay, stop. Okay, what do you all think of this song? Sharon, you said something great in the group chat that Cardi B had WAP, but Janet did it first.
Right. Well, but it's so true though. It's like
Donna Summer did it first.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's. But I mean, the thing about that though is like Donna Summer will claim that she didn't mean it to be like she wasn't necessarily she was suggestive, but she will claim that like she was still like a good Christian girl and they were telling her to kind of like pretend to be sexy, but it wasn't like her own agency.
She always said she was an actress and playing a part when she did Love to Love You,
right?
Assuming a role,
right? Whereas this is like literally Janet saying, like, let me just spell out to you exactly what I'm going to do to you in bed, right? And so the thing that I said in the chat was like we made such a big deal of, and not to disrespect all of the things that we said about WAP, but like I mean, it's such a big deal about WAP being this kind of defining moment, like, hey, like this is women sort of like taking back the agency and saying, you know what, like this is what we want, like this is what we're gonna do in bed. And like this song kind of did it like 20 years before. And like, but like, you know, like Janet doesn't kind of get the credit for that. But the other thing too that I said, which I also kind of want to like, you know, chuckle about as well, is that only Janet could sing a song like this, and it sounds almost demure, like coming out of her voice, like lyrics that nasty sounds almost a little bit like kind of like little girly and demure, you know, just like you know, and like literally only Janet could pull that off, you know, that she's being so like direct, you know, and like these are all the things that we're gonna do, but but it sounds like just so like, you know, kind of just cute and like, you know.
You know, she was playing with her kitty in that vocal booth, though.
Yeah, well, that's what the ending suggests.
Well,
oops, the song came too soon.
What do you mean? You're so lame. Oh.
All right. Well, David or Jimmy, what do you all think of Would You Mind?
I don't know if you want me to say what I think
Oh,
about
no, go ahead.
I wrote down, just because you can be explicit doesn't mean you always should. I wrote that it was another same sounding song. What is she trying to accomplish by being edgy? And, you know, will this song ever end? You know, Donna Summer did it first, and you know, it's like maybe she needed to take her own notes from Let's Wait a While. Maybe she should have waited a while.
It's funny you said that, because that was another thing I didn't write.
This is the exact opposite.
Right. I actually almost didn't write. I almost wrote in the chat, but maybe I forgot, which was, well, I guess she's done waiting a while.
Right.
So
I'm not the fan of this one. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's like no disrespect taken, you know, like we can all have our own perspectives on it. I mean, for me, I love it, you know, like
I agree with Sharon. I love this song a lot. It's great performed live. I was like, I don't know, I liked it. Like I'm telling you, after the duds that we kept hearing, this was like great to me. I don't know, maybe because I'm a horny bitch, but she's in her bag again. Like, who's doing songs like this? No one. No one was doing songs like this, and I loved it. It's one of the, for me at least, one of the shining moments on the album.
All right. Well, we're halfway done. Do y'all want to take a break or keep going?
Let's finish this, man.
All right, let's
keep going.
Side 2. I feel like the next song is Trust to Try. I feel like on Janet, we had the opera singer. On Velvet Rope, we had the violinist. I feel like this is kind of her experimental track a little bit. We have some singing with an orchestra that's angry. I feel like the title Trust to Try is weird. I wish it was Give Trust a Try, or whatever. I'm just being picky. I don't know what I think of this song. What do you guys think of this one? I liked it more at the time. As it's aged, I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
I think on every... Sorry, you go first.
I kind of like the melting of the genres. So she starts off, you know, with this very Renaissance Victorian type of singing, and then you're getting some sort of Sharon's word, industrialism in there with like metallic sounds and stuff like that. So I kind of like that part of it, but it isn't something that I'm going to go back to. And that's just me. And like, because oh Lord, child, it's a rough stretch. But it's okay. I'll give her the props for experimenting, because this isn't something you would hear from her. So it's great, because when she experiments, she hits. And I'm not saying that she didn't hit. It was just okay. You know what I mean? It isn't like I have never heard somebody tell me that they just love this song. So I'm like, but I'll give her props for experimenting. It just if it didn't hit like it should have. Like
Uh-oh.
she experimented on other albums with a rock sound, with an industrial sound, and it was like this. But here it was just like, okay, it's cute. Whatever.
I'm like,
Let's pause this bitch for a second. We have been joined by our friend Jeffrey Dicker from LA, who's about to come out with a new book, right?
yes, I am.
All right, well, cool.
Not in reaching distance, but I can show you later.
So Jeffrey is going to just recap his thoughts on part 1 of the album and then jump in for part 2. Speed round. You Ain't Right.
Loved it.
All for you.
Really loved it. The Thunderpuss remix, like, best times of my life and most hilarious times of my life to that song. So definitely 10 plus on that one.
Come On, Get Up.
Loved it. There was a good dance remix of it by Manny Lehman. Loved that.
Oh, yes.
When We Ooh.
I liked it. I mean, not the greatest song ever, but listenable.
China Love.
So with some Janet Jackson albums, like, I feel like she starts off strong, has then patches where there's like weak spots, and this is like starting a weak spot for me.
When the thunderstorm shows up, you know you're in trouble.
The
Love Scene. Ooh, baby.
To be honest with you, don't even remember it.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. No? Okay.
No.
And then Would You Mind?
Wasn't that like a really sexual song, like the Eat Me Out song on the album?
What Would You Mind?
Yeah.
That's the one. I just want to touch you, feel you, do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a long, like, there's certain songs that have never gone off a playlist, and other songs, like, not so much. Like, that one is not so much for me.
All right, and then Trust to Try is actually where we're at right now. So
Loved it. Like, okay, so just to recap, how are you guys feeling about this record so far? Loving it, hating it?
the first 3 songs, iconic.
We're
then
indifferent.
then it sags. But with Trust to Try, we're saying it's kind of, Jenna was being experimental here, but maybe not her most successful experiment, but not bad.
Well, it makes me of from the Velvet Rope. What about the time you did for me?
Yeah. So that's where
it's like that album's that song.
So that's where I was about to go. Like, she has one song like that, I feel like, on every record. And it's sometimes it's better than others, but I always love that she always tries to do one, and so like I'm always here for it, So like, and also like I'm always like I'm a sucker for like when she does her little, like, whether it's her like Black Cat moment or her like like her moment of kind of like anger or rage. Like I'm always here for that. I like a fierce Janet. Like I don't necessarily want like an entire album worth of fierce Janet, but like I like my moments of fierce Janet. So
I feel like she's pretty good at mixing it up. I mean, like she's got her rock songs and her smooth R&B songs, and then her dance tracks, and sometimes she's a little ballad heavy for me, but
all right, well, Trust to Try. I guess I will give it a thumbs up, though. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't think it's a flop.
Oh, I liked it.
Jimmy, did you have anything to add about this one? I can't remember if you talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd said at least she's trying something different. But then it falls back into familiar territory, and then all of a sudden it's time for a guitar solo, like we haven't heard that before. Did like the strings, and it's another one. It's hard to make out some of the lyrics, without reading them. So, for me, that's why it's kind of like, kind of like a lot of familiar territory on this one for me.
All right. Well, moving on. Picture it, everybody. Wow. Picture it. It's the year 2000. Martha's Vineyard. Carly Simon's out on her veranda drinking a nice glass of white zin. She gets a call from Flight Time Studios from Janet Jackson asking if they can sample her song You're So Vain. Carly puts away the Zin and pulls out the shard and starts drinking a whole bottle of Chardonnay as the Martha's Vineyard sunset goes down. Next thing you know, Carly's in the recording studio, drunk off her bottle of Chardonnay, and she throws down some vocals for for Janet Jackson's Son of a Gun. Little did she know that those vocals she recorded as the Martha's Vineyard sunset went down would end up on the final album. Clouds in my coffee.
That's a pretty good rendition of it, actually.
I know she a legend and everything, and she needs to be respected.
I love Carly. I love Carly.
But what the fuck was she doing? These lyrics are the biggest cringe I have ever heard. Like,
the sample was enough.
I thought
the
sample was fine, and even her singing was fine. But what the fuck was that spoken word bullshit? Unacceptable for me. Like, I was like we've been talking about this for weeks that I cannot take the cringe. Like, I'm like, oh, and I would love to fast forward it because I've heard it, but I really needed to just, oh my God. I was like, girl. And I'm like, Janet, please stop enabling her. Every time in this song, you love Carly, no, bitch. Please snatch her a bit. Tell her, go editing, girl. Like, you, like I can't believe that Janet heard the ending of this shit and was like, oh, this is gonna be great. I'm like, girl, no. The song without the bullshit is good.
Well, then they did that remix.
Right.
That remix was great.
Exactly.
And then there's that one that
to
goes
check
on
a bitch real quick and be like, no, ma'am.
But there's that one that goes on for like 10 minutes or something like that, and you're like, this could have been like 4.
Me and Janet, thick as thieves.
Shut up, bitch.
Mick had the apricot scarf. Cumulus, Romulus, clouds in my coffee.
Yeah, it's funny because I guess I've always thought it was bad, but like hearing David say it, it really brings it home.
Look, I'm fine with the clouds in my coffee. That's a great classic song that is still like talked about today. Like, you know what I mean? But no, girl.
Now,
why?
Is anyone here familiar with Carly's 1985 camp classic Spoiled Girl, her dance pop album? It's bad that it's great. Like, it's so bad that it's so good. But I feel like this here isn't so bad that it's good.
No, this is so bad that it's really bad.
It's bad. It's worse.
I'm like, this is like a girl. I'm like, this is, and like back then I was like, damn, bitch, this is Carly Simon. What's the fuck is wrong?
Me and my friend Peter had an art warehouse in the 2000s, and we we're going to do a whole play staged to Carly Simon's Spoiled Girl album from 1985. Some of the classic tracks, My New Boyfriend, The Wife's Are in Connecticut. I strongly recommend it. But back to Janet Jackson, clouds in my coffee. Sharon or Jimmy, any thoughts on Son of a Gun?
I don't think that I can improve upon this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, Carly ruins it. I mean, the spoken part is absolutely horrible. But you know what is interesting? I forgot how horrible it was. Like, in my mind, when this song was coming on, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this song. And then I'm like, oh God, I forgot about how horrible. So I must have been listening to the remixes back in the day, because the actual song by itself on the record, the Carly spoken part is horrific. It's like a train wreck.
In the Hall of Fame of white middle-aged woman rapping, what's worse, Son of a Gun or American Life?
No, don't even try it. This right here. Because I will defend I drink a soy latte. And I get a double latte.
Pretty bad. No, that's pretty bad.
No. Actually, no. I'm gonna need Jeffrey Dicker to weigh in on this one.
Jeffrey Dicker, to the podium, please.
I think Madonna's lyrics are worse, but just by a hair. We're not Madonna bashing here. We're just
I'm gonna say
it's liver cancer or stomach cancer. I mean, either way, you know.
Like I'm gonna say this is a genuinely hard. I don't know if I have an answer personally. This is a genuinely hard question to answer because like I do yoga and Pilates and I'm checking out the bodies like, you know, like.
But this was horrible. At least the bitch could rhyme. Oh my god. I am like, no.
That's a fair point. She could rhyme. That is a fair point. There was rhyming involved.
Yes, it's horrendous and people hate it and I'm delusional and I love American life. But yes, these are hot messes that should not be talked about. And like, I'm like, Carly Simon, you're fucking Carly Simon.
Well, what's crazy to me is like to sample "You're So Vain" is brilliant. That is a great track.
And that opening bass riff, like that's such a great sample.
It's so good. So to sample it is like genius. But whose idea was it to ruin it with her talking and, you know, that excess? Just
fucking Janet Jackson, you hear it in the fucking song. Go off, Carly. I'm like, no, bitch, shut up.
I'm telling you, the white zin was flowing on Martha's Vineyard that night.
Bitch, I don't know what crack they put in that white Zinfandel or if it was brute, but she needed to throw it out real quick.
Mm-hmm. She went to Palm Springs. Sorry, doing a circle back to an earlier conversation there. That
now, something we failed to mention that I did feel like this was kind of like this album's version of what she had done with Joni Mitchell.
Yes,
right.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh, I had made a note of that. Yeah, trying to recapture that magic.
But Joni is a smart legend. She knew when to talk and when not to.
What if Joni would have been like, when you get in that taxi and it's big and yellow, me and Janet, we say hello.
No. Joni would never. Let's not.
I'm in a taxi. This single's gonna be a maxi.
Oh god.
Or even worse, this pad's gonna be a maxi.
And
she's rapping.
This is a terrible thing to say because I love Carly. Oh, I feel like a lot of times when singers age, like they get like a bad vibrato. And Carly was like, clowns in my coffee.
But see, I had no issues with that. I had no issues with her singing. Not whatsoever. The bitch wanted to talk. And I'm like, no, ma'am. No. Sit your ass back down. Your white Zinfandel isn't over.
Oh, Carly Simon had a couple great albums in the 2000s. This was not one of the peaks of her creativity. My final thought is, Carly, if you're going to the studio, keep the zin in the little patio refrigerator in Martha's Vineyard.
This bitch giving white Zinfandel a bad name.
Of course, the Missy Elliott remix was one in the video, right?
Yes, and that knocks real good.
Right.
At the time, everyone had a Missy remix. It was almost kind of generic.
She's a legend for a reason.
Yeah.
Even Madonna had a remix with Missy.
Right, on a song with a rap. Why does Missy Elliott show up on all these songs with people? Because Missy Elliott was on the American Life remix, then on the Son of a Gun remix. Do you notice a parallel here? Anybody?
She's also on the Into the Hollywood Groove.
Oh yeah,
Into the Hollywood Groove.
That's right. That classic.
Oh god!
Like, I'll always remember the video to that because Madonna goes into a split and Missy's like, "What is that?"
I still have the little Gap promo CD.
So do I.
I actually just got it recently.
Me too.
Somebody gave it to me, and I was like, "I'll take it."
I was so excited.
All right, so Son of a Gun. Oh, I'm gonna have to give it thumbs down. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I actually like it.
Oh,
but
no, like if we take away the Carly part, that's horrendous. It's still a bop.
It's actually funny because even though I thought the lyrics all these years have been stupid, like until tonight, hearing David's assessment of it, I never realized how stupid. So because I never had those thoughts in my head until now, I still like the song.
No, it's fine to like the song. Like,
did we just ruin it for you?
I just fast forward through the bullshit.
Me and Jeffrey like Cumulus and Romulus
Shut up.
clouds. Okay. And I'd like to thank my Patreon subscribers for all leaving because you all hate me now. All right, let's move on. The boat is now leaving Martha's Vineyard.
Thank God.
The next song,
Never docked.
the next song is Truth.
Don't remember it at all.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, the truth is it's boring.
It's boring, right? It's kind of like a mid-tempo, right?
The only good part for me was that they used the "Ooh Child," things are going to get better, and they actually gave him writing credit on the song. It was used properly. I just kind of wish she had just done that song instead of the rest of that song. Ugh, I was not a fan.
Any other thoughts on this one?
It's okay.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
I like the Ooh Child because I love that song. So it's like,
right.
And like you said, it was perfectly used in this song, but more ballads and nothing. And I'm sorry, you don't have anything that has been hitting hard to keep us like I'm not saying every song's been a flop, but nothing compared to the first three songs.
Right. It's been a long time since you've heard something really
that you're like, oh shit, wait a minute. Wait. And that could have been Son of a Gun, but a hooker had to talk. and like, but like we're starting
party on your tables now ready.
yeah. We're starting to be like, okay, this is very repetitive. It's slowing down a lot. Where are we going with this, Mrs. Janet? But it's not a horrible song. It's just okay. It's nothing that, like, if I'm playing it right now, I could leave it playing and not have a problem with it. It doesn't give me the strength to push to the next song, which is fine. But it isn't something that I'm going to be like, oh my God, let me put it on repeat. Let me get my life to it a little more. It's just okay.
All right. Well, the next thing is an interlude that I don't remember at all called Theory.
Otro interlude.
All right. I remember the first time I heard the Like a Virgin album. It was when Like a Virgin was out, but Material Girl wasn't yet a single. And I remember hearing Material Girl for the first time, like, this is a smash. The first time I heard Dress You Up, I'm like, this is a smash. Well, the first time I played the All For You album after this long sag, the first time I heard Someone to Call My Lover, it was fucking love at first sight. And yes. I think this song is another sparkling gem in Janet's crown right next to All For You. I love this song, and I actually love it even more than I loved it at the time. Like, I think it's aged so well. Janet doing what Janet does best. My love for the song is very deep. And same for the song All For You. Like, I think these two iconic these are gold standard, pop R&B songs, in my opinion. So I'm curious, does my panel here share the love? What do y'all think of this one?
Yes.
I like it a lot.
I think it's trash. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, Carly.
I would never. This is, like you said, a smash. It is Janet in her pop bag. A very good pop song. And relatable lyrics. And even more for the time period. Because we all knew what was going down. She went through that divorce and she was starting to date Jermaine Dupri. So it was kind of cute. And they had been dating for a couple of years secretly, and they were starting to come out and do some stuff. So it was really nice to see her. And maybe we'll meet at a bar. Those lyrics hit because they're so relatable. Like, who hasn't gone through them? And this was her last top 10 hit.
Wow.
Like, I'm shook. She's gone 22 years without a top 10 hit, and this was the last one. And this was a major hit for her because it peaked at 3. That I love that it's classic Janet. Like, she don't have to overdo it. It's just her lyrics and a cute little beat, and I love it. It's
Ventura Highway.
Ventura Highway sample, yes. Built around that. So that helped a lot.
This song came out, this whole album came out during the time of Napster, and I was like really hardcore into Napster at the time. And these random bootleg remixes that you could never find before, all of a sudden things you heard at a club or whatever were suddenly like just at your fingertips. And so anytime there was like a single, it was like search for remixes of it because there'll probably be one. And this song, there was all these really great remixes that, and none of them were like officially released. And I was like, they are sleeping on this. And the one that I recall the most, in fact, that was the version of the song I listened to the most in my life of this song, was it. They made it sound like it was a remix, and they made it sound like it came out in 1980. It had like a total roller skating vibe. If I can find it, I'll put it in the chat. It was because it was like a random Napster remix. It was so fucking great. That is, I listened to that over and over and over again. So I did love the song, but I was so used to that version. When I hear the album version, it sounds weird to me because my ears are used to that other one. And there was a dance remix of it too that was really great. That I don't remember. I don't remember much about it at the moment, but I remember listening to that one a lot.
We may get to that.
Hector, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one.
I think it's
Yes.
HQ squared. It's Hex
Yeah.
Hector.
Oh, that
Well.
sounds, that rings a bell.
Yeah, this is such a great feel-good song. I mean, I have absolutely nothing negative to say. It was so refreshing on this album to get to this track. It was like you could just, it's like you could just like sigh because it was like finally a great song after what we've kind of been through, after the first three. So this one's great.
I like that popping sound in the percussion. It was using a lot of R&B from that era. The only other song, like that ex-girlfriend song from Mariah Carey, Rainbow, has that same drum sound. But I can't think of any other ones. But it was very much of the time of the production. Any other thoughts on Someone to Call My Lover? Oh, everyone thumbs up on this one? All right. Next, Feels So Right.
No
Feels
reference.
like killer.
I didn't mind this one.
It's a victim of the time because like a lot of people had this type of sound. This wasn't like any of these R&B starlets at the time had a song that sounded just like this. So it wasn't different. It wasn't unique to her. So it's okay. Again, we're getting a lot of songs that aren't tragically trash, but are just okay. And they're just maybe a step above mediocre.
On a scale of Demita Joe to Control.
Not Demita Joe. Leave Demita Joe alone.
On a scale of Discipline to Control.
On a scale of 20 years old. No.
Oh.
Let me stop.
I just, I have a fear of abandonment. And I just feel like y'all are going to abandon me for these next upcoming albums.
I said I will stick it out for your Patreons because they deserve it.
All right. Go ahead. Any other thoughts on Feels So Right?
Generic, bland.
Exactly. Like any of these, like Anivia could have come out with this song. Like this isn't. I'm like, Janet, and you're a legend already. She's a legend already.
Well, it's interesting when you listen to these, not just her, but so many records where there's like songs like All For You, and like they had the brain and the wherewithal to go, that song is amazing. And then like at some point, do they just give up or like to then pick a song like this one, which is so weak? And I mean, Janet is unfortunately guilty of that throughout her career mostly. I mean,
I think it's funny because so many times in Janet's career, she's like, edit. I'm like,
you need
Janet.
to.
Yes,
please.
Does she know the definition of the word? Or she just saying it to say it?
Okay, up next. It was a much let's think of times this has happened. Live to Tell was on True Blue. Die Another Day was on American Life. Doesn't really matter. It wasn't really an All For You song in my mind, but they put it on the album.
So. It was put on the album because,
it was a hit.
The thing, it was a hit, but it definitely does not fit the tone. Like this is like All For You is like a cute little 90s R&B bop that was fine. Something that something that would have come off of the Writing Off the Wall, Destiny's Child, that type, DC4. It was just something late 90s, and you hear it, and it's Janet, because nobody can do it like she does it, because it was a hit. But what song would this mimic on this album? Like, where would this song fall? Like, oh, you know how when you have some Janet albums, you know, these songs, they work together. What's this album? That song doesn't work because obviously it was two different times. This song was recorded when in 1999, released in 2000, and this album was worked on when, at the end of 2000 and 2001. People don't know, but all you need is a good year, and the whole musical landscape can change on you like that.
They also used a different mix on the album that was kind of weird.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, at least put on the single version, so we at least have the, you know, access to the version that was the hit. I didn't really like the weird version they put on the album.
Well, I probably like the weird part better than I did the song, because I just wrote that it sounds like a mediocre version of a better song. But I did like it when she gets, like, when she goes edit, then all of a sudden at least it gets interesting for a while, and then rock mix. But I was like, is this rock? That's not rock, you know. So it's a little confusing, but I just read that this song lives up to its title.
You see, I love the song as a standalone single in its single remix. That cute little video with the little mechanical dog.
Oh, and she was so beautiful in The Nutty Professor too.
But it's a soundtrack song. Like,
it is. It's specifically made for that movie. It's not made for anything else, but it is still a bop. We will not deny the bopness, because I got my life with it. But it doesn't fit the album, but that's okay, because it doesn't mean it's bad. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think of examples. I know Berlin put Take My Breath Away on their third album, and it did not fit at all. But it's weird when people put these soundtrack hits like on albums that come out way later.
Well, see, the thing is, like, you know, I think because they want the connect, like, they don't want people, you know, back then, sometimes the singles didn't come out. And who wants to fucking buy the Nutty Professor soundtrack? You know what I mean? And Más También, since it was such a, you know, a standalone song, let's just put it into this album. You know, she's got an album coming out. Unlike When You Said Die Another Day, that came out a good almost year before, it was the Miroir sound that connected Die Another Day to the rest of the American Life album. And this just does not connect. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't connect with what the work she has on this album.
So I give this song 2 thumbs up. I give it 2 thumbs down as far as belonging on All For You.
Okay. I totally agree.
I'm gonna give it a this. Just
I liked it.
I
didn't like it, the song, when it came out, actually, but then when we hit the album, it made me listen to it more, and I went, okay, it's all right.
I was surprised it went to #1 and became so iconic at the time, because the
3 weeks at #1, like, this bitch. I was like, okay, this hoe is coming strong in this new decade, because it was huge. It was played out. I heard it a lot on radio.
You know, that was her first release. And let's say it one more time, that Busta Rhymes collab was hot. Gonna make your body sweat, or whatever. I love that song.
Oh, it was a good, like, you know what, I've been with, you know, you always had, when you didn't have an album out and you've already exasperated the 18 million singles, you know how she does, but like, it was great. People are there and they're going to, like, people are there, and you know, you have, when you're not doing an album, you'll do an occasional duet, or you'll do a soundtrack song, but it keeps you in there. They don't do that anymore. But this is that's how I grew up, where it was like, okay, so, you know, Madonna didn't have an album, but then she has, you know, Who's That Girl? Or, you know, Whitney doesn't have an album out, but she has, you know, the Olympic song. She has little songs that'll hold you down till an album comes out, and that's what the song was.
Okay, we're gonna do a little edit. The most important quiz I've ever taken given to y'all in your lives. If you had to choose Busta and Janet or Busta and Mariah, which one was better?
The Janet one. and I like both songs, but it's just the video iconic. And the bigger hit was the Janet duet. And I think Janet was on top at the time when that duet came out, and Mariah was struggling through Charm Bracelet.
Yeah, she was struggling through Charm Bracelet.
Big time. Like, and Glitter and all these other ones. So it was a hit only, like, Busta and Janet, you can't decide who made the song a hit. You know what I mean? They're both great. But that Busta Mariah song, we know who was the hit maker on that one.
See, I know we're off on a tangent, but I'm going to go Team Mariah, and this is my supporting evidence.
Please.
We're coming off Glitter. We're struggling through Charm Bracelet. I feel like the Busted Mariah, it kind of, then they came out with that remixes album, but that was the pathway that led to Mimi, in my opinion. So I feel like that was Mariah standing back up, getting ready for her comeback. Plus, we always made fun of it in my job, how the whole song, she's like, and then she's like, I will climb a mountain high. Like, she just sings like one line in the whole song. So, all right, back to All For You. I'm sorry. Does anyone else want to give their vote on Busta Janet or Busta Mariah?
Can I vote Busta P. Diddy, Pastor Cavassier?
Pastor Cavassier.
All right, that's going to be my vote.
Oh, no, child, if we're going to vote on a Busta song, it'll be when he was a member of Leader of the New Schools and they had a duet with a Tribe Called Quest called Scenario. Okay, that's a Busta song.
I did not know that was an option.
Girl, you brought this other song, so let's not.
All right.
I have a funny anecdote really fast. Sharon knows that I used to hang out with Be Real from Cypress Hill. And one day I was over their house and the phone rang and I was next to it. And so I answered the phone and I was like, hello? And he's like, yo, is B there? It's Busta. And I'm like, yo, B, it's Busta. And then he got the phone.
Oh, I love it.
I love Cypress Hill.
All right, we have one song left.
The nerve.
What was the closing track on Velvet Rope? Special? So I feel like Better Days is the special of All For You.
Definitely.
It wasn't bad though. I like it.
I think it's
not like
see, this is a classic Janet ballad.
I agree.
This is good. This is real good, in my opinion. As the ballads that we've gotten, it probably might have been one of the best ones she had on this album. And I don't know if it's the vocals or anything, but it was fine to close the album with this.
Well, you know what? Actually, my first listen to the album, I was so exhausted by so many mediocre songs that I lumped this one into it. But today I went and it's like, no, just go listen to that one song in isolation. And then I could really actually appreciate it, because I love the line, when you live a nightmare, it's hard to dream. And I was like, that's a brilliant line right there. And then, the strings, the guitar, the great chorus, the grand orchestrated ending, on its own, I appreciated it. But when you have listened to this whole album, I was just exhausted by the time that one. And originally I'd written down for Better Days, Better Songs. But I have to go back and say, on its own, it's a good song, good ballad, and some really good lyrics.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one? Yeah, I think it's best case scenario.
It's in the vein of, Let's Wait a While. It's her vocals. They're soft. They're luscious. This is a Janet ballad. You know what I mean? This is really something good. I liked it.
And then, of course, the album ends with another lovely interlude called Outro, where Janet's talking again, and these interludes on this album. This is where it happens.
This is
Well,
when we were done. We're like, girl, please get to the point. Please. Por favor.
and it's a journey from here, folks. Because we have Demita Joe coming up in 2 weeks. Don't abandon me. Somebody
I'm
Demita Joe
here.
with
I
me.
told you
I'll do
I'm
it.
riding till the wheels fall. Well, the wheels have fallen off. I'm riding on the axles.
Yeah, this is that.
Until
This is
I'm
pretty much the
voted
falling
out.
off point.
I'm here till I'm voted out.
Well, you're part of the family now. Jeffrey, will we ever see you again in the Janet universe?
Yeah, if I'm around.
Next Wednesday, we're doing Lindsey Buckingham Law and Order. If anyone's a Lindsey fan.
Oh, it's his birthday today, actually.
Happy birthday,
Yep.
Lindsey. Is
74.
that when you get the
Okay.
Stevie Nicks Barbie doll that just came out?
I
It's
heard
sold
about it.
out.
I heard about it and it was sold out instantly.
It was
and
sold out and before it was hardly announced everywhere.
It's so funny on the Stevie Nicks message board. They're like, they should have done a Street Angel Stevie Barbie with her 3 chins and her crimped hair
Wow.
and a pillbox hat.
I saw that tour.
Oh,
Oh, not her peak.
all right. Well, Janet Jackson, all for you. Originally, I lumped this in with the early masterpieces. Upon a re-listen, I think I lump it more with the Demita Joe side of things. So,
what's your ranking?
I give it. Oh, I can't go first.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I never go first. I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I think All for You and Someone to Call My Lover are iconic singles. I think this is a blue. Rhythm Nation was such a blueprint for Janet's classic albums. I feel like this is a blueprint for Janet's crap albums. Lots of a big area of ballads, all with a thunderstorm, stupid interludes, and I don't know.
I'm going to give it a 7 because of the strength of the singles. But 20 years ago, I would have lumped All For You with the 4 prior albums. And listening to it again, I'm like, really? I like this shit? I was a fan of this? I like this? Wait. With the other albums, like I hadn't listened to Velvet Rope in a minute. So when playing Velvet Rope, I was like, oh, it took me right back and the love that I had for the album. And I don't know what happened to my love for this album because it's gone. And 20 years ago, I would have given this album an 8 or 9, but
Same
now
here.
I'm realistic and it'll be a 7. A 7 only because of the strength of All For You. If All For You wasn't the mega smash that it is, I would have agreed with you on a 6.
This might be the first album in my whole Phonogenics podcast, because usually I end up loving the album more and remember what I love about it, or the panel like elevates it for me. This is the first one that I liked less than I did at the time, and this is like the 105th episode, so this has been a weird journey. I hope we're not flamed too much in the comments, but it is what it is. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'm gonna go give it a 6 also, based on the strength of the singles. It's not with Janet, like I was saying earlier, like her albums, like after Rhythm Nation, pretty much for me. I didn't love the Janet record. I know that's sacrilegious, but I didn't love it. I liked sections of it, and even Velvet Rope. There's sections of it that are so great, and then there's sections of it where I'm like, this is starting to dwindle for me. And I kind of felt like she has done that for the rest of her career, starting with after Rhythm Nation. So I'm not disappointed that it's not super great, because I grew to expect that I would like sections of it and not like sections of it, because I always thought the interludes were stupid, but that's my personal opinion, whatever. But she definitely can fucking belt out a hit, that's for sure. And this album has a bunch of those. So yeah, 6.
Okay, Jimmy or Sharon?
I'm gonna go with 6.5. And I know, just gonna go wild here with a half a decimal point here. And it really is on the strength of the singles. And and the moments where she did a little bit of experimenting and trying different things. And then also how raunchy she got at one point. Which I personally love. I don't think it's the best record she ever did, but I do think that there's like when Janet hits an incredible single, like she can hit a single unlike almost any other artist. And there are very few artists, like pop artists in the world that can land a single the way that she can. And like she does it like flawlessly twice on this record, in my opinion. And so like that's pretty, like you could literally throw away every other song on this record and like she pretty much aces the whole thing. So you know, I wish she had done a little bit more of a stronger job on some of the other songs, but like for that alone, I think, like again, like that's in the very beginning, I give her all the props in the world. So that's what I thought.
All right, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm going with a 6, and that's just because of the strength of the first 3 songs and the Someone to Call My Lover song. I will say resequencing this into something that I would listen to was a nightmare. And I had to break all my rules for resequencing albums to come up with something that I would actually choose to listen to for this, which I can give you the track listing if you're interested.
I want to hear it.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, You Ain't Right. It's the Nick Astrick Crook County mix. All For You, Thunderpuss Club mix. Someone to Call My Lover, Hector McQuail mix. Son of a Gun, I'll Be Rich, Dirty Club mix. Come On Get Up, Milk and Sugar classic mix. Would You Mind, Midnight Society house mix. Feel So Right, Chinese Muscle Boy mix. Truth, Chinese Muscle Boy mix. When We Ooh, bootleg remix. And Doesn't Really Matter, Jonathan Peters club mix. And they can all be found on YouTube, and you can make a playlist. And actually, I can listen to that. So that
no interludes on your album?
There are no interludes. And even the weaker songs, when they add some beats to it, makes it more palatable, you know, because it's like you're moving and it's not this lag. This album has too many just dragged out moments. So I couldn't use the original to make anything that I would ever listen to. I mean, I could edit it down to like probably 5 songs. But I tried to use all the songs I could to find remixes of all the songs. So that I did try and do that.
All right, y'all. Well, we did it. We are in the 2000s with Janet. We only have 4 Janet albums left before the series is over. We missed September, so we're doing 2 this month. So in 2 weeks, we will be coming off the Super Bowl, coming off Nipplegate, and doing Demita Joe. So I'll pause and talk to you guys for 1 second, but let me just sign off. Thanks to the Patreon subscribers. Thanks to my friends for listening to Janet with me, and thanks to Janet. I hope you didn't hear this podcast and feel bad that we didn't love this album. And Carly Simon.
We love you, Janet. Doesn't matter what the album.
We love you, Janet. And Carly, stay away from the Zin, honey.